أنا اسمي مرهان شراب من غزة، عمري 9 سنين. بشكر جمعية إغاثة أمل لأنها
These are the sounds of joy emanating from 9-year-old Marhan Sharab. Her smile is infectious and her spirit shines so bright. Marhan is one of many Palestinian and Arab children who have a chance to live life to the fullest. Thanks to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund, Marhan was brought to the United States to perform surgery to correct her uneven legs. PCRF has left an indelible mark on the lives of thousands of Middle Eastern children. Hundreds of doctors worldwide travel to different parts of Palestine, Lebanon, and Jordan to operate on children in serious need of medical attention.
I very much appreciate the work that PCRF is doing. I think it's an opportunity to try to make life a little more normal for people who are living in totally abnormal circumstances. And someday PCRF won't be needed because Palestinians will be living in a state where they can easily get health care on an equal, egalitarian basis.
Palestinians are misunderstood in the United States, in my opinion. But I found them to be a very loving and peaceful group of people, and I've enjoyed very much working with them for the last 5 years.
As one can imagine, the conditions doctors face are challenging. Hospitals lack the necessary equipment to successfully perform more complex procedures. The easy solution would be to ignore the needs of these children and move on to cases that could only be handled successfully in their native countries. But quite simply, that is not what PCRF stands for. Part of PCRF's mission goes beyond doctors traveling overseas to operate on children. Now more than ever, children who need advanced medical care travel abroad to the United States and other parts of the world, thanks to the coordination and efforts of PCRF. No matter what the medical case, PCRF's goal is to connect children with premier doctors and hospitals to help children who need medical care that cannot be provided in their home countries. Meet now 17-year-old Mu'ath Abu Rabi'a. During the 2008-2009 Gaza bombing, an explosion struck him in different parts of his body. His right leg was amputated. Even more serious, he suffered severe head injuries. Mu'ath faced a deadly situation. PCRF coordinated his trip to the U.S. at Hope Children's Hospital in Oak Lawn. It took a year and a half, but he finally was healed thanks to Hope's Dr. Yoon Han. Mu'ath also had a prosthetic leg fitted for him while he was here in the States.
One evening we were watching TV, and we were watching a show, and they were showing this little girl that lost one of her eyes, and and he looked up and he said, "Alhamdulillah, I still have my eyes." So despite the head injury, despite he lost his leg, he still was full of life, and he was grateful to God that still he got his eyesight.
May and Khaldoon Rahma are more than just volunteers for PCRF. They are host parents. When Mu'ath came to the United States, it was May and Khaldoon who opened their hearts and welcomed Mu'ath as if he was one of their own kids.
Hosting is not just like offering a place to sleep or feeding. I mean, anyone can do that. When you host a child, basically you're adopting him. When these kids come here, they are away from their family, they are away from their parents, they're away from their environment, they're coming to a total new place, a new language, a new culture. So you have to adapt them and treat them like your own kids. Give them as much love as you can.
اسمي نجود مفيد بصل. تصوبت في حرب الفرقان. طلعت على أمريكا ولاية شيكاغو.
Najoud Bassal was also deeply affected by the 2008 attack on Gaza. She also suffered severe head injuries. Rania and Saad Arafat were the host parents for Najoud.
Najoud had a shrapnel hit her skull, and it took a good size of her skull off, and they lost it. So she didn't have the piece of the skull. And during the 2009 Israeli invasion, they actually had to stitch her up without anesthesia. She was stitched up and sent home to basically stop the bleeding. But when she came to the US through PCRF, the doctor had to reopen the wound and put a titanium piece to cover the skull. So now it's fully closed. Her head is safe and basically cured.
This is 3-year-old Syrian-born Raslan Yaqub. He was born with a complex congenital heart condition. Thanks to the coordination of PCRF and Advocate Christ Children's Hospital, Raslan is a happy and healthy young boy.
What we offered the family is to bring them to the United States and to put in a new valve in the position where our normal pulmonary artery is. So he went under a cardiopulmonary bypass. We closed the hole in the lower chambers, called the VST, and we put in a conduit with a valve going from the right ventricle out to the pulmonary arteries.
الحمد لله رب العالمين مبسوطة كثير وشعور حلو إنه بعد الخوف وبعد ما شفته يتألم إني هسه بشوفه مبسوط وبيلعب إن شاء الله يا رب الله بيشافي كل مريض.
These are just some of the many young children PCRF has helped through the years. Although PCRF has minimized the cost of these special procedures, the travel and medical expenses are still very high. The PCRF mission of helping children in need of medical attention cannot be accomplished without the help of the best doctors and nurses around the world, volunteers and host parents, and not without you, the people who make generous donations that keep PCRF moving forward and saving lives in Palestine and abroad.
We need to have the ability to help and support these kids by bringing them to the US or to Europe, and that's where we rely on your donation and the fund in order for us to support bringing these kids here and provide the best medical care to them, so we can treat them and send them back so they can enjoy and live like normal kids.
بشكر جمعية إغاثة أطفال فلسطين لأنها هي جابتني هنا على شيكاغو، وبشكر كل ساعدوني، وبشكر الدكتور لعمل العملية.
Yes, today Marhan is a happy child. This is our dream for all children who suffer. Help support PCRF and its mission to give children the chance to live life to the fullest and with a smile.
حابة أتشكر اللي ساعدوني بالاستضافة عند رانيا صادق.
وساعدتني وبشكرها وبشكر أبيض وبشكر الكل اللي ساهموا معي.